screen too, just so that you know.
Okay. Yeah.
Beautiful.
I was so much into the story that I forgot. Hey friends, welcome to the real story behind the business of our friend today, Madeleine, all the way from Arizona. Oh my God. So we are in the snowbank here in New Brunswick, Canada, and she is like in the warmth of Arizona. So
right.
all these good vibes. Yeah.
Yes.
So Madeleine, I caught you because we were live on Instagram, and now you are live also on Facebook, YouTube, and you're going to be on the podcast. So where are you? So I know you're in Arizona, but what's your job in terms of who do you help in this life?
Yes. So I have a very niche business. I have a coaching and consulting firm, and we hyper specialize in the home improvement space with an even further specialization in shading. So I particularly help business owners in the shading industry and in the general home improvement space. So window treatment dealers, shades, screens, awnings, sometimes windows and doors. I teach them how to run more effective businesses and to make sure that they are taking consistent steps, consistent action towards the things that matter the most to them in their business, right? And particularly I help business owners, small business owners, face the challenges of growing, right? Because growing is fun and everyone wants to do it. But then when it happens, they're like, holy man, I did not expect that. And so they have to up-level a lot of their skills, a lot of their strategic thinking, their management, their leadership, even their sales acumen or their ability to teach others how to sell. So that's what I do. That's what I specialize in.
That's awesome. But like Madeleine, we met in a masterclass, you and I. And we were so busy like doing the work of transformation.
Yeah.
I never really heard the story. Like, how did you become that woman? Like, let's go back to your childhood. Like, what type of little girl were you? What was your favorite playtime? I'm trying to find like what in that little girl and what you were doing at that time is kind of enunciating what you're doing now, helping those entrepreneurs.
Yeah. So when I was really tiny, I grew up in a very staunchly middle-class family outside of Detroit, Michigan. So everyone in our area was involved in factory work or worked at the airport. And I didn't see any examples of entrepreneurial behavior in my circle, right? Everyone was worker bees. You know, they are family people, very staunchly Midwestern here in the United States, you know, very good family values, a lot of, you know, backyard barbecues and that sort of stuff. But I didn't see anybody who was really like me. And I grew up feeling quite other, right? Feeling quite different than other people. And it took me many years, it took me a couple of decades to reconcile what that difference was, right? Because I couldn't always put my finger on it. And sometimes, you know, I'm very social and gregarious and I blended in, but I always didn't feel like I fit. And some of it was that, you know, I'm a natural born leader. You know, I remember a moment when we had all the neighborhood kids used to come over to our house, primarily because my mom didn't want me us all going with. I have two older siblings, a brother and a sister, and we're close in age. And everyone used to come to our house and hang out. We had a pool. It was fun, you know, and my mom would make food for people. And so that we were just a place to be. And I remember one summer afternoon, we were all gathered together and we'd been playing and we were kind of ready for something different. You know, everyone was just kind of burnt out of the same games that we'd been playing. And so everyone's kind of chatting about what they wanted to do. And my sister mentioned, let's go to the park. And we went to this little park down the street all the time. And nobody really said anything about it. I heard the suggestion. I'm like, that's a good idea. But I was kind of waiting to see if there were other good suggestions out there before I'm going to like latch onto one. And, you know, kind of everyone's losing the drive to do anything. And we're going to disperse because no one could come up with a good idea. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, let's go to the park. And everyone was like, yeah, as if no one had ever said that in their lives before, right? As if my sister didn't just say that 3 minutes prior. Wow. And what ended up, you know, of course she was like, that was my idea. And I was like, yeah, it was a great idea. Let's do it. And that's just who I am as a person. Like, to me, the attribution of the idea, who first came up with it, is it popular or not, doesn't matter. Is it what you want to do, right? And I'm a catalyst. I'm someone who, I lead through inspiration. I can inspire other people to believe in themselves and to take the leap and to have the practical resources that they need to bridge the gap between the inspiration and the activity. So that's what I do. That's kind of how I
Oh
started.
my God. I like that you say you're a bridge between the gap to
Yeah.
that, the idea, like the inspiration, and how you make it happen.
Yeah.
Because this is the tricky part.
It's tricky. Having the inspiration is not so tricky. What to do with the inspiration, now that's tricky.
Yeah. So what was your most burning desire before you started your business? Tell me more a little bit of that. How did you,
Yeah, I had a really successful corporate career that I loved, and I was well respected. I had climbed the corporate ladder very quickly. Early in my 20s, I made a decision to really double down with my career and to devote all my resources to winning at work. And I had gone from being a field sales manager for this large company to being the youngest member of their North American executive leadership team, which was pretty huge. And I had been recognized for a lot of hard work, and it was a great ride. I loved it. And I did a lot of good work there. They would put me in charge of departments that needed a bit of a turnaround, because I'm known for being willing to have the hard conversations in a way that's not hard. And I had come to a place where there was nowhere left for me to climb unless I moved internationally. Went through a big, huge international, 3-month thing, only to be offered a position that would have been in Shanghai. And I did not want to move to Asia. I just wasn't prepared for that. I don't speak the language. I don't read the language. I'm not as familiar with the culture. Like, I just really felt it was too different. Anywhere else in the world, I was willing to go. And I'd made that very clear. So for me, that was a really pivotal moment of saying, this isn't my home anymore, right? Like, this has been great. It's been a fun several years. I had been there for 4 years at the time. And also around that time, I had the really special privilege of being the sole mentee of the CEO of the group. So it was a big billion-dollar group worldwide, and I was his only mentee. So we had talked a little bit about my career, my trajectory, and what I wanted. And one of the things that I had raised to him, I was in my late 20s. And I said, I was staring 30 down the face, and I said, I really want to be a mom. I really want to have a baby. And I said, but, I'll wait. And he said, don't wait. He said, career opportunities will come for you. You're bold, bright, ambitious. It's good, but you will look back with regret if you don't mend or tend to your personal life as well. And
wow.
Yeah, for being someone who, like, that means that's going to put me on a pretty different work trajectory, right? They're a French company, and they believe in, like, family, and they believe in having that in your life is important. So that was really cool. And so I decided to have a baby. I actually was going to adopt on my own. And I had met with the attorney. I was all getting ready when, quite unexpectedly, I got pregnant. And so it was one of those not planned, but certainly not unwelcome, right? I was all that I wanted. And that took me in a different trajectory. After I had my son, I took an extended maternity leave from my very cool corporate job. And then I ended up, basically retiring from that position, stepping down. It was mutual between my company. We all left on good terms. Everyone's very happy with the whole thing. And I knew that when I had been thinking about leaving just before getting pregnant, I knew that I wanted to do something to help business owners, people who already had a business. Because while I like to help people with an idea, I want you to have, like, there's a difference between, like, seeds and a sapling. I want you to come with a sapling, and then I can help you make it a mighty oak. But I'm not as good with the seeds, right? The seeds are great, and I'm good with your mindset and helping you and encouraging you, and I can certainly do all that, but it's just not my area of greatest brilliance. So that's what I decided to, look in the place where I knew. I was very clearly, acutely aware that there was, a lot of bold, bright, ambitious business owners out there in my space, in my home improvement channel, that they really wanted to do the right things, and they were working really, really, really hard, but they were working hard at the wrong things, right? So I wanted to help people. I knew all the success secrets from all the years that I had spent in the industry and watched all these successful business owners grow. And I wanted them to have an easier path, right? To be working smarter, not harder. And so I took the first course that I created was a sales training course because I knew that and it was something I could create with relative ease. And it just grew from there. Yeah.
Wow. So I'm just curious, what is you said, I want to help them because they work hard
Mm-hmm.
but on the wrong things.
Mm-hmm.
What would be the top 3 things you see over and over from business owners who are working, like sweating, crying?
Yeah. Blood, sweat, and tears, right? Here's what I would say that spending too much time working in the business and avoiding the work on the business. So they get so busy doing all the things, being busy, that they forget to be productive. They forget to stop all the minutia for just 1 minute and look at what do they really want to be doing. So intentionality is huge for me in my life and in the lives of my clients. Like I really help them get intentional about what do you want, not what did you want when you started your business, not what did you want when you were just out of high school or just out of college, or what do you want today, now, this year, right? And then help them get really clear about taking steps every single week, every single month towards that outcome, right? And making decisions to say yes to the things that get you there, right? Because that's mistake number 1 is staying busy and not productive. Mistake number 2 is saying yes to everything.
Mm-hmm.
Not
and
learning
at the
how to say
beginning
no.
you do because
You
you're
do.
like, yay.
Yeah, saying yes to everything. And that leads to mistake number 3, which is avoiding really that critical definition of who your true ideal client really is, right? You need to know who you are best equipped to serve. And the way that I say it to my clients is you want to work with the people who happily pay premium price for your premium product, whatever that is, right? Whether your premium product could be what someone else's baseline product is. That doesn't matter. You want to speak so clearly to your ideal client that it's like blowing a dog whistle to a dog, right? Yeah. They hear it and they perk up and they take action. Yeah. And that's about, you can't blow the whistle if you don't know who you're blowing it for.
Yeah. Oh, totally agree. That's it. And it takes a long time to figure this out. And it's something that you have to tweak, right? Until
you do.
You have
to live it. You have to live it. You have to experience it, try it out, see how it feels. And then you have to just dive right in and live it, right? You have to, sometimes you make a shift in your offer, you add something, you change something, you approach it differently, and it speaks to a different person. And then you work with that person and you're like, ooh, that was not a good experience. I consistently have bad experiences when I work with people like this profile. And you have to be really, really clear on who are you as a person and as an organization most well suited to serve, right? Because it's just, if you are really well suited to serve someone in the middle of their life who is well established, who is going from great to excellent, hallelujah, right? If you are positioned to serve someone at the beginning of their lives and careers who's just learning the ropes and you love to teach them the ropes, hallelujah. Like it really doesn't matter who it is. Yeah. You just need to know it.
Yeah, definitely. And then when it's time to use advertising, it helps too, because you can get more of the good people, like the people you want, not the wrong people.
Right. That's right. You can, it helps for everything. It helps for what you say yes to in your business. It helps for your decisions, how you want to grow, who you want to hire. It really transforms everything when you understand who you serve and what you do.
Yeah. Madeleine, what was the biggest struggle? Like, so I know where you are now. You say, okay, I'm going to leave the corporate. I'm going to have my baby. Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to help more people, like through my own signature now.
Yeah.
So what was the biggest struggle at the time to make it happen?
I missed you. Cut out just 1 second. What was the big what?
Can you hear me now? Yeah.
I
okay.
Can, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was asking, what was the biggest struggle for you to make it happen? By the time you have, okay, this is what I want to do, and then let's do it.
Yeah. So I took a path that maybe not many would take. I had the good fortune of having been really successful in my corporate career and have been very mindful about how I saved and spent and used my money. So I had some financial resources behind me. So I invested in a mentor. Like I just dove right in and I made a big investment in a mentor who I felt could really help me grow. The mistake that I made in that was not understanding who her best ideal client was, right? So I mentioned how I like to work with businesses who are like a little sapling, not seeds. She was also someone who can take someone that has a sapling and help them make it into a mighty oak. But I jumped in with seeds. I jumped in with an idea about seeds. I didn't even have seeds in my hand yet. So I acted like a mature business too fast. That was my biggest problem because I came from a corporate background where everything was given to you, right? You already had your branding, you already had your product line, you had all these things. So you just had to execute your piece. And I gravely underestimated how much time and effort and energy it takes to do all those foundational pieces, right? The branding and the messaging and even building a product line. And I had done really well in my corporate career. So I had a really strong book of contacts and I was able to be successful quickly, but I just overestimated or underestimated how much time and effort it would take to get to where I wanted to go. And so I consistently felt demoralized and defeated by what other people saw to be excellent success, right? Because I was not quite there. Like I felt I wasn't there yet. I wanted to go too far, too fast without the right foundational work to do it.
So at a personal level, how did you overcome that? What did you have to learn mindset-wise to be okay with this?
Well, it was a really interesting time in my life when I really dove into the business because at that time, my relationship with my son's father ended. That's the best way to say it. So we were not married, but we were living together. We had mingled our households. We had mingled everything. And it ended, I mean, maybe not so unexpectedly, but quite abruptly, right? Like I thought it was going to be either a phase or we were going to work our way through, and we didn't. And I actually ended up living with my parents and my son in their basement, right? Having gone from this successful person, I had a home that I wasn't living in, right? It was just a very tumultuous time in my life during the phase when I was also doing the foundational work for the business. So they're so intermingled, it's hard for me to pull them apart. What I most needed to learn, two core things. First one was that receiving is not weakness, right?
Yes.
That there is a gift in receiving. Right. To watch the joy. I was, in my early 30s and I had gone to boarding school when I was 12. So I really hadn't lived at home on a permanent basis since I was 12 years old, really. So to watch the joy that my parents got out of being there for me, being able to do for me, being able to live with me and my son, it transformed me, I think, because prior to that moment, or that we'll call it long moment, it was a couple of years, I had really looked at needing help or seeking help or wanting help as, put your big girl pants on, like get out there and do it by your own bad self, right? Like, why do you need so much? Like, don't be so neediness. And I would never have allowed myself, several years prior, I would say like a decade before that, I got into a really severe car accident and I didn't want my mom to come and help me. I didn't even tell her how bad it was, right? She saw me 3 months later and I was still a mess. And she was like, what? She was so upset with me. But so that's what really needed to be unlearned for me. Like that needing and seeking and receiving support is actually something really generous to the other and to self. So that was number one. Yeah. It was huge. It was transformational in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, huge. And the other one was that that whole you can have it all. You can have it all. You can be it all. You can do it all. I feel like it's insidious because yes, you can. At what cost? And being true to what my core values are meant to me that I needed to take my foot off the gas pedal of my business a little bit. And I needed to devote my time and effort and resources, internal resources, my emotional resources, me, to the raising of my son. And it was something that was really important to me. I had wanted this child. I delighted in it. I knew he would only be little one time, right? So only gonna be little one time. But at the same time, I had this baby business that I really wanted to grow, and I wanted to grow it with me. So I had to get really clear about what my core priorities were, and to allow my bold, ambitious business self to actually take second place. And that was extraordinarily difficult because I had to learn who I was again.
Oh, who I was again. Yeah, to relearn.
I had to relearn.
Reprogram.
I had to recognize the value in owning my position as mother, in owning my position as small business owner, not big fancy executive, right? And that I had to regain the nobility of it, because I'm a person who, I like power, I like prestige, like I like to be respected. That's part of like core of who I am. Like I like that. And for me, owning a small business at the level that it was at just didn't tick those boxes for my own internal measurement. And so I had to throw out the old yardstick, and I had to build a new one.
Oh, thank you for sharing this, because it's applicable to so many of us, right?
Yes.
No matter the story, or accepting help and with joy, and then be open to change your references.
Yes.
Of success. Yeah.
That your set point. Like what is your, so success is a very, of course there are some external metrics, of course, but internal metrics are so much more important, right? And it's a very malleable concept, right? There are people who don't have two pennies to rub together, and yet they personally feel successful. So it's an internal set point, and and it's actually something that I've had to do several times now, right? It wasn't just a one and done, right? You have to continuously.
It's usually not.
And that was shocking for me, right? Like I thought, oh, okay, well, I have this on lock. I've already figured it out. But then you grow and you change, and circumstances grow and change with you. And then you have to do it again.
Oh my God, I love it. I love it, Madeleine. Thank you so much. Oh my God. Being a mom and building a business, and set up your priorities, and be proud and okay with, the time and money that it takes and require, and the emotional component in all of this. That's what I like how you explain. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot to it. It's not just a one faceted element, right? There's a lot goes into it, and you're not just a one-sided person. You have all these different elements of yourself that you have to own and recognize, and different, another thing that I just think is so, the way that people discuss it is so not helpful, is balance, right? Balance is not about equality. Like everything is the same. I give 50% here and I get 50% there, and now I have a balanced life. That's not what it is. There's usually 1, 2, maybe 3 parts of your life. If you break your life into, I look at it as like 12 different quadrants, 4 quadrants with 3 parts each. And if you look at those, there's one area of your life usually where you're dynamically growing. You're not usually dynamically growing everywhere, and it's not equal, right? Balance means overall, you're giving what you need to give to the quadrants you need to give it. That's what it means, right? It doesn't mean that it's all split even. Is in different moments of your life, different elements of different quadrants. When I had a crying little newborn baby, my family quadrant was full to the brim. There's not more to go around, right? I didn't have room for the other stuff. And I think that that's just, there are some people who appear to have it all, and appear to do it all. And either A, they're extraordinarily well supported, which is often the case, and or B, it's at a hidden cost that we just don't see, right? We don't see that on their Instagram feed. We don't see that in social media. We don't see them living out loud what they're having to sacrifice for the success that everyone else sees.
Yeah. You don't want to be an entrepreneur to sacrifice anything, and it's hard at sometimes.
Mm-hmm. It is hard. It's hard.
you have to be so aware. Like the
We do.
awareness part of who we become is the part that, we need to navigate with our awareness around who we become.
Yep.
Is it really what I want to become here?
That's right. Yeah. And the thing is, like, it's always your choice. It's not like someone's done unto me, right? Yes, bad stuff can happen to you, for sure. Bad stuff's happened to me, for sure. And I'm grateful for those bad, horrible things, because they moved me into a path that I would never be where I am without the stumbles. I would never be where I am without some of the horrible things that have happened in my life, right? And I can look back with gratitude towards those things and be at peace with them, and also recognize that within the bad thing, there's always the invitation for you to grow, right? So a big shift that happened, I would say about 5 years ago for me, actually happened through this brilliant mentor that I was working with. Her name is Michelle Gunderson. And it's something that many people teach, but she said it to me in a way that just, when you hear it, like if I finally heard it, was that, Madeleine, you're living your life as if, something's been happening to you. What if you could live your life as if everything was happening for you?
Wow. Yeah, the change is the filter, eh?
Everything changed, right? Everything changed. From that moment on, I made a concerted effort to always to strive to find what is here for me, and to detach myself from what happened to me. And it was a dramatic improvement in my overall. Nothing changed externally in what was going on, but a dramatic shift internally in what was going on. Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, I called you the Madeleine Wisdom before the show. That's what you are. Gosh.
Got my little gems. Got my gems.
So what was the biggest payoff for you, after all those steps and struggles? And I'm sure there's still struggles, but like you power through the major storms, right? So what was the big payoff? You said, that's it. This is why I am here.
Yeah. This is why I have arrived. There have been quite a few. There's different ones as you go through the journey. So one of my big moments of when I teach and coach my clients, I always make them celebrate a win, no matter what, at the beginning of every session. Even if it's like the world's worst day, I'm like, I want you to find one good thing that's happening, because I really stay attached to what good things are happening in my world all the time. So for me, it's like a progression of like, it's like that song, all I do is win, 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 no matter what. Like, it's just, that's how the progression of my life feels when I do it that way, right? It's not that that's what my reality is all the time, but it's just how I choose to view it. So for me, a couple I have arrived moments. In the second year of my business, I signed a huge contract with Angie's List. It's a big company in the US. And that was just an I have arrived moment. Like, that was really cool. I got to teach thousands of people over the course of just a couple of months. That was really super cool. Another moment for me, anytime that I got, like early on in my career or in my business here, anytime that someone would fly me to a destination to be their keynote speaker, that was like, yeah, girl. Yeah, girl. They're paying me to be here and paying me to, like, they just took care, like, it just felt so good. I love to get paid to speak. So I've done that now so many times, but it just felt so good. I remember the first couple of times it happened. I got invited to speak at a very exclusive industry club, which is for 8-figure business owners, and it's by invitation only. And they invited me to speak for them. That was amazing.
Yeah.
And I think that up to now, my proudest achievement was in January. I actually hosted a retreat. I hosted a 3-day.
That's true. Yeah.
Yes, a 3-day virtual retreat. And throughout the course of my business, I started off very tactically, right? I teach the nuts and bolts of how you sell and how you lead and the 5 steps of sales success. And I'm not belittling that, right? That's important. I'm good at it. It's prime real estate in my repertoire, but it's not the whole story for me, right? That's just part of what I do. It's not all of what I do. And the retreat that I taught in January was a 3-day virtual. right? All on Zoom. I think it was grand total 12 hours. So lots of time on Zoom, maybe even more. And it was about, I called it Luceat, which means let it shine. It was an unveiling of a brand within my brand. And it was about like exactly what we've been talking about today, like recognizing what are the quadrants of your life, where are you with them, where do you want to be with them, and dreaming new dreams from where you are today. And if you would like, I actually have a poem that I wrote throughout my journey. It took me actually a couple of years to write it, and I read it during my retreat. And I think that it's a really good. My mouse is freaking out here. It's a really good summary of kind of what I was teaching, and I'd be happy to read it here for you.
Yeah.
If you'd like.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So hidden thing about me, I didn't know this about myself, but I have like this little poet hiding inside of me that sometimes comes out to play. Okay. This one it's called The Skin. I wrote this, started in 2019, and I wrapped it up in 2020. And I'll share this with you and you can share it with your audience. So it's this. My body has been growing. This skin no longer fits. No matter how I move or where, it tugs and tears and rips. I've tried so long to keep it on. Without it, I'd be bare. I've stitched, I've sewn, I've stretched and pulled. I've patched it everywhere. This skin, my skin, it has to go. It's worse than disrepair. It's suffocating the beautiful self that's been growing under there. I'm afraid. What if it hurts to let this old skin go? Far worse, she said, to keep it on and then to never know the beauty, power, strength, and worth of the exquisite creature. She's waiting, trapped inside, waiting for you to meet her. I feel afraid. What if she's more than I can handle? What if I make her goals and dreams come screeching to a standstill? She fixed my gaze and raised her hand and bade me to come nearer. As I approached, I could see she was offering me a mirror. Look in, she bade, and tell the truth. Are yours the eyes of a killer? My eyes looked scared, but deep and kind, and in the fading sunlight golden. She turned to me, grasped my hand. I felt myself emboldened. Cast fear aside and faithlessness and any shred of doubt. Let it go. It is safe to let your new self out. She spake to me, my inner voice, and suddenly I knew the time was now to let it go. The words she said were true. Instantly the spell was broke. This was the final hour. Those threads, once strong and binding, had finally lost their power. I now was free, the old skin gone, and all within was peaceful.
Oh my God. Oh. Yeah.
So that's what the core of the retreat was about. And for me, I taught it. 25 beautiful souls registered. About 18, 20 showed up on a daily basis, all 3 days. And that was a pinnacle moment for me in my career.
Yes.
It was a pinnacle moment.
Yeah. And it was just recently. I love it.
Yeah, it was just in January. So the beginning of 2021. That's how
what an amazing way to wrap up the interview. Oh my God. Oh, it's beautiful. Did you publish it somewhere on your
I have not. No,
yet.
I haven't. I haven't, but I can share the PDF.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they must have loved it because, when we talk business, that part is always often missed, but not with, I find with women entrepreneurs, we're more in tune with that aspect of things. And I just love this. Oh my God.
The men, you have to come at it really tactically first and like ease your way into okay, now who do you really want to be? Right now that we've been working together for 5 months, let's talk about it. With the females, you can usually go there sooner. And I mean, it's not always along gender lines, right? It's just about people who are more deeply into their personal development, maybe further along their journey. But yeah, it's definitely there's a level of awareness that you have to have as especially a lot of the business owners that I coach, they sell a product and they don't sell their own knowledge or their own skills or their own service directly as their product. Some do, but many sell a product. And when you're not selling a product, I don't sell a product. I mean, I have some products you can buy, but they're all intellectual property products. They're educational courses. I sell a service. I sell training. I sell coaching. I sell consulting. And you have to really be your best self if you want to show up powerfully in that way. That journey can be really intense.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We really expand proportionally at how we expand our mindset and our alignment.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yep.
Oh my God, Madeleine, thank you so much for
You're welcome.
Those truth bombs you've been
you.
like launching on us. So Madeleine, I put in the comments in the bottom of the screen here your email if people want to reach out to you to learn more about what you do. And then on Instagram, if you're watching the replay, reach out to Madeleine in her DM. And Madeleine is not often on, she told me to say that she's not often on Instagram. So don't hesitate to, even if she reach out to me now, reach out to her in case.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Instagram, as I know, everyone tells me I need to be on it more. And I know that you are all about helping people on their social media, advertising and so on. I just, it's not my area of greatest strength, we'll say.
It's okay. It's all good. You're here today. So good job.
Today. Yes, there we go. I learned my login. Yay.
So to wrap up with everything, maybe tell us if you had one advice for a woman entrepreneur who feels that nobody else is seeing her outside of her, current circle of potential clients or clients. What would be your number one advice to become more visible using social media or anything online that you find help you to go beyond your current or your regular people?
Yes. So I am all about leveraging the power of connection and the power of people who are already talking to your audience, right? So I not necessarily, so for instance, if there's a vendor who sells something specifically to your audience, see if there's something value added that you can give to get in front of them, whether it's a training or advice or even like a frequently asked questions sheet or some sort of infographic or something of value. Really be a go-giver. Give first and try. I like to leverage the people who already have the audience in a really mutually beneficial way. That's been the primary growth driver of my business, and I will hang my hat on it every time.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that amazing advice. Thank you. And if you guys watching the replay, if you have more questions, drop them and we'll answer them. And thank you so much for being here, for your time. And Madeleine, oh my God, every Saturday, you ladies are getting me. I can't sleep. I have always short nights between Saturday and Sunday because the energy, right? And we don't take the time to share those stories of struggle and success and overcome. And it's just beautiful. So inspiring. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And do you have anything you want to add or something I didn't ask that I should have asked you?
No, I think that was a really powerful interview. Thank you so much for hosting me.
Okay. Thank you, Madeleine. Bye, Instagram.
Bye.
And then I'm going to also stop here. Bye.